vibrate or silent, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Does any member of this board wish to add, remove, alter this agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We got a motion by Kramer, supported by West, to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the consent agenda, which contains minutes of March 11th, 2025, and the treasurer's report and bills. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted received and file or approval is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Is there any member of this board wishing to remove any item? Any member of staff? Any member of the public? Joe?
I have just one correction in the minutes, so I don't know how you want to handle that.
Okay, we'll remove the minutes and place them under new business, item 5.
I only have 4 items for new business.
Or, I'm sorry, item 4.
That one you don't.
Thank you, Sherry.
Move to approve the agenda with the removal of the minutes, putting them under new business is, number 4.
No, we already did that. We have to now approve the consent calendar. Right?
Okay, move to approve the consent calendar
Okay.
with the removal of the minutes, we're putting them under new business, under 4.
Support.
We have a motion by West, supported by Baganowski, to approve the consent calendar with removal of the minutes to be placed under new business item number 4. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call it, please.
Merrick.
Yes.
Wiganowski.
Yes.
Excuse me. Kramer. Yes. Bradkey.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
And McDonald.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is the declaration of conflict of interest. Does any board member have any conflict of interest on any item to be discussed under old business, postponed business, or new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports. I see we have the fire chief, emergency services director here. Chief Case, we have your information in the packet. Is there anything in addition that you'd like to present?
Yes, just have one thing for the board. Last week, I met with the Scouting America from Michigan Crossroads Council. Every year we help out with their Klondike Derby, which is held on Arts Academy grounds. And so they presented us with an appreciation plaque this year. So, and we'll post it up at the station. We provide an ambulance there. I think they had about 70 scouts this year, and about, I think, that many parents. So about 140 people came through. There's all different stations. Andy was one of the crews that was there with the ambulance, and then we do an extrication demo. So they provide us a car, and we take the extrication tools down, cut it up, and do a demonstration for them. So I just wanted to let the board know that they presented us with that last week.
What's the exact name of the organization? Can you read it?
It's Scouting America.
That's it.
It used to be Boy Scouts, but now it's Scouts America. So it's Yeah, and we've done it every year. It's been a long time. I mean, decades now, that we've done it. Sheriff's Department was there, Coast Guard's usually there. I don't want to misrepresent. There's a lot of different stations, and they're from all over. The students or the young folks are. So just wanted to show that to the board. Go ahead.
I'm not thinking real quick, clear on it. In the new fire barn, do you guys have like a big case where you can put all of
Not
this?
yet. No.
You're working on it, or?
We've got some, so the other ones that we've done are on the entryway, so we haven't decided whether we're gonna use that space or create a kind
A
of,
big glass case.
we're getting too many things. We're getting better at the chili cook-off and stuff, we're running out of space.
You're so modest, chief.
That's all I had.
Any other questions for him? Well, kudos, and if you get with Mary Jo for a pick-up, it'll be great.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nobody from the road commission, county. Deputy, okay. That's as far as it goes for reports. So the next item on our agenda is public comment. I would ask that you rise, go to the podium, state your name, address of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes directed towards this board and myself. Anybody?
You gotta break the silence. We were getting worried, sir.
Yeah.
Greg Caskey, 11717 US 31. I just wanna thank the chief and his people that came out. Being one of the commissioners for the scouts here in this area, we greatly appreciate it. I don't know how long they've been doing this. This is my 5th year being out there. Last year and this year was on a limited basis due to hips, but it's greatly appreciated. The youth love it, the adults love it, and hopefully we'll have continued support. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your service and thank you for your commitment to our youth. Yes, ma'am.
Jill Coverdale, 5648 Roywood Way. I just wonder if you have a Facebook presence for Green Lake Township. I wonder if there might be a way to put something out there to alert the 300-some residents that are in Kingsley School District of the May election for that fairly large millage, to just make them aware, because Kingsley has not published much of anything and people are not aware of it. So just something to think about, could just be a little blurb to remind them if they didn't get an absentee ballot that there is an election in May. Thanks.
Any other member of the public? Yes, sir.
On that note, Scott Richards, 11802 Fred Meyer, Interlochen. The millage, I'm working on Axe My Tax, again, petition to reduce property tax to eliminate it in the process. So I don't agree with all the millages that get passed. I would like to see the books on everything, because I like Elon Musk. There's corruption everywhere. And I'm not saying you guys are corrupt, but people make mistakes. And so Axe My Tax, I'm working on a petition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, good evening. My name is Richard Reichland. I live in neighboring Long Lake Township at 7932 Sunset Drive. It's kind of a little bit, I don't know if it's ironic or serendipitous that you actually have airport manager on the agenda tonight. I did not know that till I looked up the minutes or the agenda today. I have a couple questions, comments about the airport, and would like to throw my hat in the ring as potential airport manager. And I will, just to be quick so I don't ramble, I'll read the email that I wrote to you back in November, just to give you my background. So my email to you in November was, I'm interested in learning about the possibility of becoming airport manager for YA8. Jim Anderson and I visit on a regular basis, and he made me aware this week in the fall that he'd be retiring soon and suggested I might be a good candidate and that I should contact you. Became a pilot early in 2023, purchased a Piper Tri-Pacer that same year, and the Green Lake Airport has become an integral part of my family's flying experience. We often inspire enthusiasm from people at the park, especially children. Once I was dropping off our 14-year-old after a flight, and some kids thought she'd been picked up from school on a plane, so that was a lot of fun. We get a lot of smiles coming and going from there. As I said, my home is in Long Lake Township, just a few minutes away. So I stop here often to drop off, pick up passengers, as well as park here from time to time. It's a very regular stop for me. And we have several family members that live on Green Lake as well. I've served on township boards, community organizations, planning commissions, and whatnot, and have a business of my own. I'm semi-retired now, so I have the time. So between the smiles and waves from those at the park, the kids, and even some experienced pilots having their first takeoff and landing in a small grass field here at Y-88, I've really grown to appreciate its uniqueness, and being involved in a more intentional way is something that I would like to explore. And I see you have it on the agenda, so if you have someone hired or something like that, I would still be interested in volunteering with my 3 minutes. So I would be interested in being involved in some way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any other member of the public? Seeing none, we'll move on to postponed business, which contains treasurer, bank, rec issues. Mr. Merrick.
Thank you. So looking back, it's been, the last time all the bank recs were done was back on June 30th of '24. Plugged away at some of them over the last several months, but did not get many done. Jill's been coming in the office, spent probably 40, 50 hours over the last couple weeks going through the bank recs. We got, as you can see on the little spreadsheet here that Jill was nice enough to put together, she spent a couple hours the other night doing this, so we had something we could look at that maybe was a little more understanding. All the bank reconciliations for the 11 accounts, with the exception of the general fund account and the property tax account, have been completed up through the end of February. The general fund account and the tax account are a little bit more complicated to do. There's some transactions that we've been having to general ledger in, figured out some ways to streamline the process going forward from the time transactions happen till the end of the bank rec process. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close to having it all done. We've got some good procedures put into place on how to do some things, and Heidi Sheppy, formerly the county treasurer, now at the city, she's treasurer, the city treasurer, has volunteered to come in and show me some of the things that BSNA can do that we may not be using. Want to get these caught up before we start looking at other tools or ways or reports that BSNA is able to help provide. The one thing that we did do that was a struggle for me, and I'm glad Joe was here to help, was we figured out the methodology, how to calculate the interest. That now that we're getting some serious interest, we need to spread it across the different accounts. They're part of the general fund that are in the money market account. Back when we were getting $6,000, $7,000 a year, it wasn't that big a deal. Now we're getting $80,000 or more a year in interest. The different categories need to get the money. EMS should get the money, not just the general fund. So we've now got a spreadsheet that makes it very easy to get those numbers calculated. Something that Trent was kind of concerned about at the audit was getting that interest properly allocated or separating it back into another 37 accounts again. So Jill's help has been very, very much appreciated, and the knowledge and skills that she's brought has been helpful for me in learning some more accounting stuff I didn't know.
Okay.
Okay.
You said that now you're gonna run the interest into each account where it belongs?
That's correct.
When Susie was doing it, she just run it all through the general fund, cause I asked her 4 or 5 times why these accounts aren't making money. So now when you eventually get this all straightened out, we're gonna see what it's making just through interest in that. There's gonna be an account or
A line item.
line item.
Yes.
It's gonna show that now, and that's where it's gonna go.
Always been interest account or interest line?
But it all went to general fund.
Correct.
That's very
Because we're making almost no interest, so the time it took to spread it out, spread a couple $100, wasn't worth it in her mind, apparently, I don't know.
Okay.
Trent wasn't a big deal during the audit up until recently. Now we're getting some real money. It wasn't real money before I took office, so it wasn't an issue for the auditors.
Okay, and with that being said, Jill is in our audience now. You've heard what was stated tonight, and you've been involved in it the last, many hours. Is there anything in particular that you would like to add or, comment on in regards?
Yeah, so townships are set up very different than any businesses. You know, in any business, you have an accounting or bookkeeper type that kind of is running the whole general ledger, you know, payables, payroll, whatnot. So they know all of the story of what's going on. Townships aren't set up like that. So Judy as clerk has certain responsibilities, payroll, you know, checking the invoices. Andy has responsibilities for depositing, you know, monies that come in, reconciling the bank, handling all the tax things. But there's not one person that's looking over the whole shebang. So it makes it more challenging when you're doing things like bank recs to know, gee, where should I record this electronic fund transfer that came into the bank and what is it for? You know, was it set up as a receivable? Is it supposed to be booked into income? Where do we need to go? So there's a lot more communication between the parties in the office that are needed. BS&A is a bit clunky. You know, I think that there are things that we don't know with BS&A, hence why we're gonna have Heidi come in and maybe show us some best practices. But, you know, you saw things that you questioned, Dave, several months ago about, you know, something in a bucket called miscellaneous transactions. It was like $500,000. Well, we discovered that sometimes when there were electronic fund transfers coming in, Andy wasn't using the deposit mechanism to record it, he was just doing it through a different entry, so it wasn't coming in as a deposit. You know, so that grew that number quite a bit, but, you know, we've been working, I think, really collaboratively of what can we do better. You know, the interest, what we did, Sherry, just so you know, is for each of the different funds that has money in the money market account, we're now taking beginning balance, ending balance, average, percentage it out, and taking the interest for the month and spreading it. It's
Hand doing it, or is it
Pardon me?
hand doing it, or is the computer doing it?
No, we have to hand enter the amounts. BS&A doesn't do that kind of stuff, but I have a spreadsheet set up. It's 5 minutes to enter the numbers, and then we now have recurring entries set up, so it's very easy for Andy to go in and post it to the right accounts. Because as you recall, that was an auditor comment when they presented the year-end audit of let's spread it to the appropriate places. Because if we've got, you know, $500,000 for this fund, they should be getting the interest earnings. But we figured that was a simple way to do it. You know, it's not rocket science of average daily balance, but it's good enough. You know, and it's way better than what was being done. There's a couple of year-end audit entries that occurred that the auditors did that kind of have caused some consternation on some of the recs because they acted as though some money had moved at year-end. It really didn't move yet. So we've got some reconciling things that we think should shake out in March. We're keeping our fingers and toes crossed, but I think we've made good progress. The general account and also the tax account are bigger and a bit more problematic. We learned some things about the tax account that I'm hopeful once we test drive those suggestions, we can get through that rec and get it taken care of. Because the balance that's on that thing is totally not right. It's like, you know, 6 million shown on there, and that's just BS&A, but we know that that's not correct. So I think there's good progress being made, and as Andy said, I've been kind of living at Greenlight Township when I don't have other things to do. So it's all good, and I'm happy to help out.
And if you notice the cash fund accounts and stuff, those seem to have been rectified by getting the deposits into the accounts appropriately. That was some of the general ledgering that needed to occur that I was a little stumped on at times and was able to get them caught up with Joe's assistance. And now we have the cheat sheet, so to speak, on how to properly enter those general ledger entries.
And once we get the two remaining accounts tied up and then, roll forward into March, I'll work with Andy, excuse me, to document how to do these things. Because truly, if you're keeping up on it throughout the month, doing the actual rec at the end of the month shouldn't be that time consuming. It's just that we're playing catch up and having to do a whole lot of entries, right now. Like, for example, the electronic funds for the ambulance billings and receipts that we get, we had to book probably at least 10 to 12 transfers every month that had not been recorded. So we needed to properly show those. So it's been kind of a hunt and search learning expedition. We're getting there. So
Thank
that's
you.
all I have.
Very good. Dave?
So Andy, what's the end game here? Is that at some point in the near future, are you gonna get us the bank rec statement that BSNA produces, or is it's module or whatever? What's the?
I've got 9 accounts with all the bank rec statements, stack about like that.
Done. And
Done.
reconcile.
Do you want me to email those
No,
to
I'm
you?
asking you what.
I mean, I don't know what you're, I'm
I'm
trying to
asking-
understand your question, Dave.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, how are we gonna know that you finished and got it worked out and all the bank statements in the past are up to date, reconciled? What do you intend to, you just gonna tell us that orally, or are you gonna show us something?
I can provide you any documentation you would like. You'd
I
like,
don't know what
I can,
BSNA produces, that's why
I can-
I'm asking you, what will you produce?
I can print out a simple statement that they give affiliation. Most of them are 1 page, some of them are 4 pages. That would show you, I provided one to you last month or the month before that was questionably done, so you can see what the statement looked like.
Again, I'm asking you, what did you intend to provide us? Was it be that BSNA report, bank reconciliation for all the 9 accounts, whatever?
So after Joe put this together, I thought I'd include this, which shows what we've done, as well as the BSNA statements. You asked for the bank statements or BSNA reconciliation report. You had mentioned you wanted the bank statements so you could match them up with the bank rec. I can include those if you want.
I'm asking you, how do we know you're done and that from going forward, we're gonna have what we need? What is your intent to show us? Is it,
I'll come here with me and tell you I'm done. If you want more proof of that, I can provide whatever documentation you want.
I'm asking you, I kinda expect you to say, hey Dave, the BSNA bank reconciliation module, whatever, is now being operated and working for us, and that's what we're gonna rely on from here forward.
I can produce the monthly bank reconciliation statements from BSNA every month for you if you would like.
I don't want it, I want 1 month that shows it's all working,
Then
and
that's
then
what I
I
will
don't
do.
wanna see them again.
And that's what I will do, even though the auditor suggests it every month.
So we can run that, and that's the reason why we're gonna have Heidi come out. She is the BSNA guru, in that regards there. And I, had some conversation with her, I think 2 Fridays ago. Yeah, and I did contact her, and she'd come out and be able to set up the customized reports or the standard reports for reconciliation out of BSNA and be able to customize the report. I think Joe mentioned that earlier today, of trying to facilitate answering your question. And I think Sherry had some questions in that regards as well. So might be able to do a 2-page report in regards to here's the funds, as Andy's indicated, something similar to this, and show that it's been reconciled to BSNA.
And what I suggested to Marv today, Dave, is that, once we're caught up and we know things have been ticked and tied and they're legit, is I could come in the 15th of the month or whenever we want to pick a date and just verify that it's been done and it's not getting out of control. So that we're not ever again in this situation where we have, many, many months to try to catch up on. Because as we all know, trying to catch up is a pain in the ass. Pardon me for the video. But.
Well, they probably didn't pick you up because you're not at the podium speaking.
Yeah. But, we want to stay timely, and a lot of this can be done during the month. It doesn't have to wait to the end of the month. There's the ability on the Huntington accounts to look online as to what transactions have come in. So that's gonna be part of the how-to, because when Andy's deputy is back on site, you know, some of that might be able to be handed off to her, you know, so we just wanna be sure it's very much outlined, it's ticked and tied, and that we know it's done going forward.
Do you know when that gal's coming,
The gal being Heidi,
being Heidi?
when I invite her, I wanna get everything caught up before she comes out and shows me how to do the reports, so that we can get it done
I kinda
accurately.
like to set in just to listen to what she's.
I will invite you when she's coming home.
But I can't do it for a couple of weeks yet.
It's gonna be,
Oh, it's,
Okay, then I'll.
You don't have to worry about that.
tax season will be over before that happens.
I'll be free.
Yeah, we'll can work on that. And did you get somewhat of an answer, Dave? Okay, Pat, do you have any follow-up?
Yeah, but it's a little bit, not directly on bank reconciliations.
Okay.
Well, I was looking at what the state wants us to do with.
The microphone for the people at home.
Says we have to do. I mean, quarterly, this is supposed to be mandatory. We should get say from January 1st to the end of March, just a report of revenue and expenditures by a fund. It looks like the whole purpose of this is to force us to keep an eye on our budget. So we're supposed to get a report of the actual revenues and expenditures by fund, and then take our budget and compare it to, and, just make sure that we're not blowing the budget, or revenues aren't coming in like we thought they were.
It's like a trial balance.
And then there's, then they talk about best practices, where they talk about the monthly reports, which is, like I said, it's not mandatory, but they say this is what you should do. So they want the treasurer to provide, which Andy did this month, cash activity by fund, bank account, certificate of deposit, and investment account. And then they want the clerk to provide a balance sheet by fund. And then they talk about, then they say that these must reconcile on a monthly basis, even though it's not mandatory. But the only two things I could see that you could reconcile would be, the treasurer's gonna provide a cash activity by fund, and then the clerk is supposed to provide a balance sheet by fund. I'm assuming we're supposed to look at those two items and make sure that they jive. I guess that's what I'm picking up from their regulations that.
So you're picking up what they're putting down? Yeah.
Yes.
I've been providing those last two forms for quite a while.
Yeah, so we'll have that, in a more organized fashion, going forward, in that regards there, so if we can, see if we can reduce the number of sheets and just put it into reports, total received, total expended, and see, and somehow we can do it, statement date to statement date rather than monthly report, because our bank statements usually up to 10 days after the end of the month, or within the, I shouldn't say 10 days, 5 business days. And the clerks will do it on the end of the month end, correct?
Sure.
Our reports don't.
I just
typically
do,
Yeah,
match.
I just do
they don't
board
match, they
meeting to
just
board
have-
meeting.
yes.
Is what I do.
They have a little variable, so we can always, make notations of that as well.
Pat, does it say who's supposed to do the revenue and expense by fund account report?
It does not say. For the mandatory quarterly reporting, it does not say whose responsibility that is.
I'm sure between your office and my office, we can figure it out.
Treasurers.
Well, Bill will get that figured out there.
Treasurer doesn't spend money though.
Is
So
the
I'm just
budget,
gonna say treasure.
is our budget available on our website?
Yes.
We can also print you a budget report to date, actual versus
Well, that may be.
Budgeted.
budgeted.
You'll be getting it here shortly,
Well, that's a good one.
That'd be
Yeah.
better.
That'd be a good one to
but
get.
I don't know if we wanna do that every month.
Mm-mm.
Cause it's 80-some pages.
Yeah, we don't
Well,
want
we can work on that, yeah. Yep.
Summary page.
Anything else, Sherry, that you'd like to add?
No,
Judy? Okay, we're good. Again, we'll leave that on for
Absolutely.
postpone business for the following month. So we'll move on to item new business, the Grand Traverse County Road Grinding Contract 2025. If you notice, this year it has the same mileage as last year, and last year we reduced the mileage by 1 mile by removing Mud Lake Road between Gonder and Betsy River Road. I would make that recommendation again this year, that we remove that from the grinding, and we did 2 applications, as you can see, last year's signed agreement and this year's proposed agreement.
say the road you wanted removed
Mud Lake Road between Gonder
and Betsy River.
and Betsy River.
But
That-
you also removed a strip just north of Mason. Where's that? When you look at the map, it said that they removed, North Betsy River Road from, Betsy River Road over here to Riley Road, which now we have a name for it, where all them new houses are.
On that one, that little leg off there.
Yeah, that's now Mayfield or something. What was the name of it, Jason? The new little road, we give them a new road name.
Yeah, well,
With all the-
disadvantage with, what's that, Colin? Oh,
Well, I think that you might wanna make sure that that's rhymed this year, cause there's like 6 new houses down in that.
yes, on that little leg, yeah, that's the road commission, they wanted to change address and change the road
Right,
name
they
and all
changed
that.
the road name on it
Yeah.
and that, but last year we didn't rhyme it.
Okay, I'll double check with,
It was written on here when I was reading the report.
yeah, so how they have it done now is Riley cutoff, that 0.17 mile.
Yeah,
stretch.
from Gonder to Betsy River, they call
Yes.
it, but it's way down past, when you go off the pavement there, so I'd like to leave that on.
Okay, we can leave that on. The only thing I'd, like to reiterate is that 1 mile removal, Mud Lake Road between Gonder and Betsy.
It's okay.
Pat,
Well, that should be a mile and a half, the Mud Lake Road, because it continues past Gonder to the neighborhood, a road that hardly ever used through the woods, you know which road I'm talking about?
But isn't that in Benzie County?
No,
no, he's talking on the east end.
Going the other way.
Oh, going the
Yeah,
other way.
when you go to that
I know where you're
stop sign
talking
before
about
you're
now.
heading back to the campground,
Yeah,
they've been grinding that stretch, to the right, heading east.
But I mean, it's even less used than the other stretch, I mean, that's just.
Well, at least there's some base to that little stretch instead of the blow sand, but,
So you wanna leave that in there?
well, if you would mind, we could axe it, but leave it to the discretion, we can go down and check with the road, with, Roy and, myself, we'll go down and take a look at that and talk with the road commission. Cause that's that little stretch that goes up and eventually heads, northeasterly, then it heads east and it connects into the other road, heading out to Long Lake.
Right.
Okay,
And then there's a little 9/10 of a mile stretch of Gonder Road that's right connected there also.
yeah, we don't go north of, Mud Lake Road.
Well, you see where it says, in that same area where it says Gonder Road and there's a little arrow?
Yes,
Yeah, so there's a little
there's that little stretch between coming off,
0.09. I think you wanna include that in there also.
yeah, that goes back, that's that dirt stretch from Gonder Road where it curves off northeasterly. That dirt stretch of Gonder goes up to the stop sign before heading north to the campground.
Right.
We do that little couple hundred feet.
I think we should do it. Are you?
Oh, yeah, this
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, okay, you don't want to do it, no, you wanna do it.
So Marv, at the bottom of your list here, the roads, the blue and white, it says Bush Road, end of private to end of private. Is that just some tiny section in the center? What is that?
Yeah,
Where that
because we got
big
public on
field went.
the north end, we got public on the south end. The road commission does the whole thing. Where we did the Bush Road sewer system, that's a private
So the 4.46 miles is the center section or the end section?
The center section. So we're gonna grind that because that's a pass-through. The road commission and the neighborhood has authorized continuation of the road commission utilizing that private section instead of turning around, going all the way around.
So who's paying for the rest of it? Nobody? The road commission's just eating it?
The road commission's eating that aspect.
Alright,
Yes. That was part of the agreement here. We had 2-3 years ago, we had a little disagreement with one property owner that had his driveway damaged. That was all into the easement.
Does this number include 2 applications, or is this a number?
Per application.
Per application.
Correct.
Alright. So,
And that would become out of the Metro Fund. That's a restricted fund expressly used for this type of activity.
so according to my math, by taking that mile out, that would save us $3,500 roughly.
For both applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, altogether.
Yes.
I guess when you guys submitted this contract last year, you removed this and removed that, but you didn't change any of the numbers. Did you verify that they subtracted that?
Yes.
Okay. No other questions?
Very good. Any others? I would entertain a motion then in respect to the road grinding.
Yeah. You're taking whatever out.
I guess it's a move to approve the proposed contract with the removal of, when I gather, you only wanna remove the 1 mile of Mud Lake Road, is that correct, and nothing else?
Correct. That's what my recommendation is. Unless there's additional that's on there.
That's fine with me, unless anyone wants.
Support.
We have a motion by McDonald, supported by Baganowski, to approve the road grinding agreement with Grand Traverse County Road Commission with the removal of 1 mile of Mud Lake Road between Gonder and Betsy River Road. 2 applications. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Merrick.
No.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next item under new business is the Interlochen DDA Trail Professional Service invoice. We agreed to pick up our share of it here several months ago, and on a condition that they provide invoices. Mr. McDonald has been deeply involved in this, so if there's any questions, I would defer to Mr. McDonald.
I just would, the invoice from the DDA, she's already whacked the 2/3 off of each number. So if you're looking at the Wade Trim invoices, it's the number in the middle, not the top, not the bottom, but the one in the middle, which she's, only taken 1/3 of and inserted in her invoice.
Wait a minute, Pat, where are you at?
Tell us which one we're gonna pay.
Alright, the blue invoice from the DDA is what, the money that they're asking for.
That's the first one, and it's 4,200.
Right.
4202.13, correct?
And that represents 1/3 of what was charged by Wade Trim, and so she documented that
The rest is back.
with the 3 invoices from Wade Trim, and then she threw in the soils and structures, which are part of the 3rd charge, I guess. Anyway, and these Wade Trim invoices are kinda hard to follow, but the charge is in the center. And she, like I said, she took 1/3 of each of those off, one on each page,
Okay.
and inserted them in the invoice.
So we'd be looking for a motion to pay our portion of Wade Trim's invoices on behalf of the Interlochen Downtown Development Authority in the amount of $4,202.13.
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking for? Is that your motion, Pat?
But the math's not working out, Pat. I mean,
Right.
some of those are half of an invoice, but what about that invoice for 10,875? I don't see half of that.
Right, 3625, that's the last 3rd number there. Each of these, on the first page, the charge is $1544.92, and 1/3 of that is $518.31. The second page, the charge is $175.68, and 1/3 of that is 5856.
All right.
And then the third page is the 10,875, and under that is the 636.25.
All right, what's the last one?
That's just to document, if you look on the third invoice of 10,000, a good chunk of that is the 7,100. If you look at the top of this
All right.
back page.
Back up to the back. Okay. All right, I'm good.
Okay.
Any other questions, Sherry?
Yes, is the bill gonna run over, or is it gonna be set right at what we said to begin with?
No, well, there's a cap on it, and I wouldn't expect, this board is not committed to paying a third more than what the cap
The
is.
DDA will pick up all that?
Or
If it does
might
go.
come crawling back, but, yeah, as of now, this board is not committed to
Okay.
any overages.
I'll second Pat's motion to pay the 42,0213.
0213. Okay, we have a motion by McDonald, supported by West, to pay the DDA invoice in the amount of $4,202.13. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'd like a roll call, please.
Kramer, yes. Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
and Viganowski.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. The next item on our agenda under new business is the airport manager. Mr. Jim Anderson, who is currently our airport manager, has officially put notice into the township that he is retiring from his position as airport manager, which he took over from his father. His father is the one that built the original hangar back in the late 50s, I believe. And so just bringing that forward, we've had a couple inquiries in regards to taking over the position. Jim's son's one of them. We just heard from one tonight. And we have one from a reserve officer of the city that would also like to, he has an interest in it. So I just want to let you know, we'll bring that forward for our next action. Yes, Dave?
Bring a copy of the old contract too, with the applicants.
Yes,
Right, now, does the FAA require us to have one? That's a mandatory thing, right?
yes, and you have to be certified, you have to hold a certificate from Lara.
Was this a barter thing that we had going? Jim?
Would you?
Yes, with Jim, we had it, I think we paid, what, $10-25 a year, and he did, took care of all the paperwork with, the airport, ensured that we were in compliance with the FAA.
And then we give him a hanger for,
Yes, he used the space in the hangar.
For the last many years, he has not taken payment,
Yeah,
just the rental.
so, and he still has a plane in there, needs some work done on it.
So this is no action, we're gonna see this next month, the 3 applicants and the contract, and we're gonna decide?
Yes,
But should we put it out for,
oh, you put it out, but, I mean, we
Yeah.
paid,
$25.
right?
I don't know if it's,
Put the
maybe it's
benefits out
$10
there,
a year.
$25.
Yeah,
Yeah, but. you
Oh,
never know.
are we
He was getting paid $1 a month.
are we gonna have a hanger to offer, or are they booked up?
we'd have a hangar to offer, I mean, the existing hangar that Jim currently occupies.
He might be quitting, but is he gonna move his plane out of there?
Yeah, he'll move, and he won't resign the position until we appoint somebody. So I can reach out and follow up with you guys at a later point. And that's it with regards to the airport manager. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4. I believe Ms. Coverdale made a request to remove an item from consent agenda, and those were the minutes. Jill, if you would rise, go to the podium and present your.
Yeah, it's just under the treasurer bank rec issues on page 3. We say the $3 overdraft, it should have been 3 million, slight difference.
It's just numbers.
Tell me how far down that was, Joe, I remember reading it.
Yeah, it's right here, Shirley.
About 3/4 of the way down the sheet.
Way down, yeah, I remember reading it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
report, we had a $3 million, what appeared to be an overdraft in the
Okay.
tax account.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's all kerfunkled up.
Any other discussion?
That's an official accounting
None?
term, right?
I will, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. I do believe that concludes, all our items under new business. We'll move on to discussion. I do have one item that I'd like to bring forward. As you know, Wendling Graham, is no longer serving the township, and we accepted, the relationship that was sold to Bachman, Thal, Seaver, Kaufman and Coaches, law firm. Been working out quite well. In fact, they stopped up here 2.5, 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there, and they're looking to set in a seat to do some work up here for some other townships. Currently, they have 2 communities up in this area here, and we're gonna get our boxes, because I asked for all the paper copies from Peter Wendling and Brian Graham's office, so we'd have them in our possession there. And talking with Rob Thal and Catherine Kaufman, I did entertain that they could utilize the librarian's office there and utilize that space.
For free?
Hmm?
For free?
Oh, no, I'm gonna charge them.
Oh.
They're charging us, so. No, but I think it's a win-win, because we need to keep this building being used and occupied. So I'm just looking, maybe we could charge them $350, or, I'm sorry, $400 a month, to occupy in our space here, which is a benefit for the building being used and for our youth
We've
when
got
they're here. They might be up here once a week, once every couple weeks, but at least it's,
So that they get a key, if it's month to month, I'm happy with it. I wouldn't want to do a lease with them.
okay, month to month. Pat,
That sounds good until we see what's happening.
perfect. Jerry?
Are the keys all the same now for this hall and the main township hall?
We'll have key fobs.
Key fobs.
Or do we wanna give them a key to our whole?
No, we'll just give them the fob and to their office.
We don't trust lawyers.
Which I forgot to bring all your key fobs. So you can't get in the office. You'll have to stop in and see me.
So,
But we can adjust those key fobs to work on just certain doors,
Yes.
and we can get them to work on just certain doors under certain times.
Mhm.
So if they're only gonna be, if we only want them in the building on Monday between 8 and 5, that key fob can be keyed to work only between 8 and 5 on Monday.
The door down here will have a key fob and it will have a code.
yeah, and this door is gonna be, starting to be replaced tomorrow here, the front doors.
The office is
'Cause right
all
now, the
done.
one door, it's supposed to be double door, the one we got locked shut because you don't wanna open it. They'll fall off.
Right.
So at this point, we'll go with that, and thank you. Any other discussion? Pat?
Oh, I just noticed at the airport, we have 2 sets of soccer goals that are going to waste, and just thought maybe we could set a couple up on the fire baseball field to the east, just on the other side of the right field fence. There's an area that
Oh,
we could.
on the north side there?
Yeah, we could stick a couple of goals, maybe buy some netting and, buy a
Yeah.
soccer ball and put our name on it in black ink or something.
Yeah, I think we have netting in Jim's hangar in that regards there, and I believe we got 2 other ones that are being donated from Duck Lake Peninsula Association. They have a couple over there they'd like to as well. And another follow-up, AJ Excavating is meeting with Roy latter part of this week or early part of next week, to go and finish that trail to the north to Vagabond. I believe that's scheduled to do a walk in the morning sometime, and,
So that constitutes what? Tree cutting, gravel?
yep, tree cutting, stump removal. Colin might be a little bit better, because he's the one that did the preliminary
Sure.
layout, but it's leveling, making a trail of wood chips.
Okay.
They were gonna do it during the winter, but, winter was kind of interesting this time. So with that being said and done, Yes.
During public comment, it was mentioned that they want to be able to audit the books or see the books. All of the records of the township, of the school boards, of all that is open to the public. Some of them may request a Freedom of Information Act to see those, but the documents are public documents that belong to the public you can look at. You may have to set up an appointment to go see the folks with it, but you're welcome to stop in anytime to see our records.
So other than that, any other items for discussion? Very good. Now is another opportunity for public comments. The same rules apply. I would ask that you go to the podium, state your name and address of the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes and direct them here towards the board. Is there any member of the public who wish to exercise that opportunity? Yes, sir.
And one more thing I should have mentioned, I did let the supervisor know today that MDOT was putting out a press release as of today that the construction project on US 31 is gonna start. You're starting to see signage was being put out today. Supposed to start after Labor Day officially, and I did get contact with them, and the contract was awarded to, one second here.
AJ in question.
Time's up.
Technology.
So while he's looking, yeah, well, we had a rough draft press release from MDOT. We're gonna ensure that it's finalized, and I believe from the sounds of it, Chief Case, it was done today. We'll put that in our newsletter blurb. We'll also put it on our social media blurb and also on our webpage.
So J&N Construction, I believe Gaylord is gonna be the contractor for the project, and then Elmer's got the paving, so, just so you know, big stuff is gonna pick up after Labor Day. As soon as I get more of a timeline, I'll put it out to the board too, and just mention that public comment. So just wanna let you know.
Very good, yeah, they're gonna be doing the detours all summer, and we'll be shut down for Labor Day with the bridges being removed. Both east and west have been locking corners for replacement. So with that, any other public comment, please rise and do your, thank you, Scott.
Scott Richards, 11802 Fred Martin. I'm not accusing anybody of making a mistake. I've worked for the government 3 different times, and I know how the government works. And thank God for Elon Musk. That's how I'm at. And I don't care to see the books because I'm probably not smart enough to see the books and catch something. But I just know the government, and there is a lot of waste in government. That's why Elon Musk is taking such a hit. And I think I've never owned stock in my entire life, but I think I'm gonna buy me some stock in Elon Musk. Tesla. And that's all. I'm not accusing anybody of miswrong, but there is a lot. Since I've been working with the Republicans and stuff like that, I've seen a lot of waste. And that's just in the Republican Party. Sorry.
Any other member of the public? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:25. Motion by McDonald, supported by
Second.
Kramer. All in favor indicate by saying aye.